Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Second hour here on the Wednesday edition of Focal Point AFR Talk. We had a caller, Clint in Arkansas, apparently had retired from, I believe, the Marine Corps, and was explaining to our call screener, Wesley, that one of the reasons he did is changes in the military. Clint, if you get a chance to call us back, I'd love to hear your story. So, Clint in Arkansas, if you get a chance to call us back, we'll try to put you on 888-589-8840. Let's grab a couple other phone calls to start the second hour. Let's go to Daniel in Mobile, Alabama. Daniel, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian, I listen to your show all the time, man. You're fantastic.
Thank you very much. That's kind of you.
Thank you. You spoke 100% truth, everything you said about Obama. It's a sad day when we really see that our president can be labeled as such. The one thing that I would like for someone to do is have a reporter that would just ask him, are you a true Christian? Do you believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to the Father? I think that would call him out and label him of who he is. He speaks of the Holy Quran, and, he is trying to destroy our military. I think that he has just enough time to be able to destroy this country and not be able to have this country be recovered.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and I appreciate your call, Daniel. Thank you for that. I've got a piece here, National Journal, prints out to about 5 pages. I won't even walk you through it, but the heading of the piece is this: what if Obama can't lead? In other words, it's not that he's impotent, it's that he is incompetent. He has no idea how to lead. He has no idea what he's doing. And what we've been talking about over the last hour is, I believe what Obama has done, at least, I believe what he's done to the economy is deliberate. Even our president, Tim Wildman, who's a pretty cautious guy when it comes to stuff, he wrote a column several months ago that he believes that President Clinton is deliberately out to sabotage this economy. It's intentional. It's not incompetence. It's intentionality. And I've suggested the same thing with the military in the last hour. And I think this is National Journal. It's a left-leaning publication. And they're scratching their heads. And this is the deal, because, what's going on here is people just cannot fathom, they can't fathom the possibility that you could have a president who is deliberately trying to harm this country. They can't process that. We've never had an experience like that in our history as a nation with a president like that. And so it's hard for them even to admit that possibility. So they've got to find some other explanation for what he's doing, and the explanation National Journal comes up with, he has no idea what he's doing. Well, you look at the military, and I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Talking here about President Obama, I think I slipped and said Clinton, I meant Obama. It is, President Obama knows exactly what he's doing. All of these things that are happening in the military converging at once, that cannot be coincidental. So he's not incompetent. He's actually very, very competent. He is a gifted demolitions expert. He knows right where to place the explosives. He knows right when to press the red button. He knows just exactly how to bring the entire house down, and he's deliberately setting out to do it. But, this piece by Ron Fournier is a leading journalist in America. What if Obama can't lead? I mean, I think in Ron Fournier's world, it's probably never occurred to him that President Obama actually may have malicious intentions against this country. That this journalist, even though he's a winger left guy, he can't even process that possibility. He doesn't have a place for that in his worldview for a president who hates this country and wants to weaken it and wants to destroy it. But I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the military. I think it's exactly what we are dealing with. Well, let's go to Todd in Houston, Texas. Todd, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Obama's efforts are truly, I believe, destructive. One of the things that has concerned me, I have this comment and one other, please, before you start speaking. The collapse of the currency could potentially leave U.S. personnel and military assets stranded all over the world. Where they are placed could suddenly become extremely critical. Whether or not we can get those people home could also be extremely critical and highly destructive. The other part that's also continuing to cause destruction in the military is constant rotation into not just combat zones, but extremely high-stress zones. I'll say that's what I have to say.
All right. Well, and you look at the general weakening of the economy, weakening of the dollar. You might be exactly right. I mean, they'd probably find a way to get them home, but obviously what that would do is it would compromise our ability to project power where it might be needed. I got a story in the stack today where Al-Qaeda, our intelligence now is telling us that Al-Qaeda is out there deliberately plotting attacks on airliners, on American airliners, cargo planes and passenger planes. So they're not on the run. They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't been destroyed and dismantled like President Obama wants us to believe. They are still very active, and they are still out there working their mischief against the United States. And, if what Todd is talking about, the collapse of the dollar makes strands our troops there or makes it impossible for us to maintain their position over there, then it weakens us in places where we may need to have some protection. All right, Todd, listen, I appreciate the call. Let's go to Ruth in Tampa, Florida. Ruth, thank you for calling. Thank you for waiting. What's on your mind?
Kevin McCall, I learned so much from it. The reason I'm calling today is I came across something in a magazine. I was just wondering if you had heard anything about it. And I'll quote, it says, while at Harvard Law School, Obama was rejected by a committee of female students when he applied to model for a Black Pride pinup calendar, end of quote. I wonder, is he, since this is a Pride calendar, is he homosexual?
Well, that rumor has been out there for some time, Ruth. There's even a guy by the name of Larry Sinclair that went public claiming that he had actually snorted cocaine with President Obama had been involved in homosexual trysts with him, and claimed that he was kind of a well-known sort of participant in homosexual activity in the Chicago area. Now, I've never found anything to corroborate that. This is the first time, in fact, I've even ever talked about it because you brought it up. So as far, Ruth, as I know, there isn't any evidence to support that. We just have this one individual who's making this claim. The scriptures are very clear. It's by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses that every fact is confirmed. You wouldn't want to go public with an accusation or a suspicion like that unless you had more, I believe, evidence from eyewitnesses than what we have to work with. So that's the best I know to do on that, Ruth. I think that's important that we observe that principle by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Every fact is confirmed. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Doesn't even mean it hasn't happened. It means we don't have enough evidence to support a suspicion like that at this point. All right, Ruth, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about these numbers that you've heard. Now, and I got to tell you, I got to warn you, already the propaganda machine is gearing up that the economy is robust, it's bouncing back, our economy is expanding. It is all smoke and mirrors. It is fabricated. $500 billion of expansion in our economy, manufactured out of absolute thin air. I'll explain it to you when we get back. Focal Point AFR Talk.